What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down how to use a split release. So we're going to be talking about a split release, what's the technique behind a split release, and how this can build into other routes, okay? So let's get started with this video. But first things first, fellas, today our catching program, 30-day catching program is 50% off today only, so get this product. 30 days worth of catching drills, grip strengthening drills that do not require a quarterback. Check out that very first link in our description. Catching program is 50% off today only. Sale ends tonight. Hope we can get you guys on that soon. Again, 50% off, first link in the description. Let's get started with this video. So split release here, there's a great example from Keenan Allen using a split release, right? So now, he's one of the best at this split release. We're going to be talking about the mechanics of it. So what is a split release, okay? So a lot of people see this, but a lot of people do this release ineffectively and they do it wrong, right? So what a split release is where you're bringing your back foot pretty much even with your front foot and you just kind of like split. You just freeze the DB, right? So it's like you want to freeze him and then leave him. Now, the most important things here when you come to is on this split release is that you A, come to balance, and B, be able to push in whichever direction out of there, right? So like it's real important. A lot of people will do this split release and then they pop their pad level up. They'll pop their chest up. Their feet will be super narrow. They have no balance. And all that takes is one DB to get a good pop on you, get a good hand strike, shoot you right in the chest with their hands, and you're knocked off of this route. So you want to make sure that you come to balance and you're in an explosive pad level position to where you could get out either way, right? Because we're also trying to get a read on this DB. We kind of, coming up to the line of scrimmage, you already have a plan, right? You already have a plan. Okay, I'm going to split release. I want to take an outside release. I want to take an inside release, whatever it is. But if he takes away that plan, we still got to be able to react. So you see when Allen, he gives this split, he could go in either direction. He could either push this way, he could push this way. And he's in an explosive pad level position where if this DB shoots hands, he's not going to be completely screwed and knocked off of this route. So you guys want to split, take that time to be balanced. Okay, now a lot of people will do this split release and they're on their tippy toes, right? So now you see when Allen does this split release, he really splits wide, right? He gets in a good balanced position right here, but the weight is on the inside part of his foot, right? Because when you're on the inside part of your foot off a split release, you could push in, you could push back out, right? Because you see this DB kind of stays inside shade, right? He stays, or maybe, excuse me. Yeah, no, he stays outside shade. Excuse me. We're taking an inside release on this. My bad. So he stays outside shade, right? Now, but what if this DB shoots inside and he shoots, you split right here and then he shoots way to the inside? Maybe I don't get the best head and shoulder fake and he seals off the inside. I could still just push off of this inside leg and take the outside release. A lot of times about releases, it's about reacting. That's why you got to be patient, then sudden off the line. Everybody talks about, oh, you want to be patient. But what does that actually mean? Being patient is when you come off the line, you hesitate, you give him that like kind of look, you give him that little maybe head fake, you're seeing where he's at, and then we go. We take our time because the split release does not take a while, so we can be patient. We want to freeze him and then leave him. Freeze him, then leave him to the inside. You see how much of a burst he has off of this leg, and his first step out of there is with that right foot, and then he crosses back over, and now he's up into the route. You guys still want to be able to get that explosion off that split release, so I split. I make sure no matter where I'm going, inside or outside, I'm pushing off that inside arch of that foot on the opposite direction to still get that explosion so I can still burst up field, okay? It's a great example from Keenan Allen. Let's watch it again, full speed one more time. So he splits, pushes, let's push up vertical, and let's get up into this route. Great job by Allen, okay? So now, on that one, you see that he took an inside release. Right now, we're going to be looking at this example here from Deebo Samuel. Now, the big thing is that you want to be able to have that split release, right? But you want to have things that build off of the split release. You don't want to come up to the line and just have a split release and that's it. You're screwed if they take that away, right? You want to have different things, different tools in your arsenal. So now we look at this rider from Deebo Samuel, and he does this split release, right? He'll split, then he takes off 1-2 to the inside. He does that like kind of dive release and then runs this like 5-yard kind of speed out, okay? So now, let's talk about this. So he splits his feet right here, but you could do this either or because or not splits his feet, but he switches his feet, right? Because the quarterback's inside, he's running an out route, so his outside foot's up. Now, people ask a lot of the time, hey, like, why do guys do that? Why do they have their opposite foot up, right? And now I've heard, you hear a lot of different things from a lot of different people. The main reason is, it's to throw off the DB one, right? Just to get him to kind of think like, oh, he's for sure going back inside. And then look what we do. We run an out route. And it's for timing, right? Because like normally you would do this on like a drag route, right? You would just get straight into it, just cross the guy's face and then just go. But right now with this dive release, we're trying to sell a drag route. So you want to make it look the same. So again, it's just to throw off this DB and get in his head a little bit, play a little bit of mind games with the guy. That's really why they do that, right? Because a lot of people are taught your inside foot should always be pointed towards the quarterback. Then you get to higher levels of football and they switch. So it's a common concept that you see. Wouldn't worry too much about it. It's more about the scheme that you're in. But again, if you're a guy who, a lot of 7-on-7 circuits, a lot of one-on-ones, stuff like that, great way to throw off the DB, right? But you got to make sure that it looks the same on certain routes. You don't want to do it for just one route because that makes you predictable. Now, let's get back to the split release. So When he splits here, you see, he splits, gives a little head fake, and we're going to talk about that in a second. We have a release from Antonio Brown that we're going to check out. But this split release gives a little head fake, and now you see DB's outside shade, he's giving him the inside. So we want to make sure that I'm pushing off of here, and you see how his first step out of there is this left one, right? That's not necessarily a big step, but it's like his first step going forward. So what do they call this? They call this a dive release. So what it is you're just diving inside. Some people call it a threaten release, right? Because you're threatening this DB where he doesn't want you to go. You're trying to cross his face. You're getting him to commit, and then we're breaking this thing back off, okay? So you see how he dives to the inside, and you see how he fully commits his shoulders, fully commits his hips. Now, what does this exactly look like? It looks exactly like what Keenan Allen just did. That split release, and just take the inside release and push up vertical, and then run a dig, run an out, run a post, whatever. You can do really anything you want off of this split release because it's fast enough, right? Now, he splits. We make it look the exact same, 1, 2, 3, and I just put the brakes on right here, and I cut, and I got this DB to fully commit his hips because he's seen this before. You know what I mean? That's how you make all your releases look the same off the line of scrimmage. You split, make him think you're doing one thing, take a dive to the inside, then bam. You could also do the same thing in the opposite direction, right? Because like, let's say you got to run a slant. Let's say you've been all game, this guy's been inside shade, head up, and you've been giving him this split release, you've been taking off to the outside. You could do the exact same thing. In this case, your other foot would be up, but you split, you take 1, 2, 3 hard steps on a 45-degree angle to the outside. He's seen that before. We call that a diamond release. He turns his hips, then you break it back underneath on a slant. It's pretty simple, guys. You got to make your releases look the same so you're not predictable. You watch a guy like Keenan Allen, you watch a guy like Devontae Adams, Julio Jones. They all have their releases look the same, and it all builds off of like a foundational release. So this split release is like a foundational release to lead into other things, right? You could go split dive, you go split diamond, you just go split and you're out. Maybe you go split and you give them like a 1-2 off the split. There are many different things that you could do, but it all builds off that same split release so it all looks the exact same, okay? So let's watch this thing full speed one more time. Great job by Samuel working this split release. So split, 1, 2, 3, pops this thing off, gets back to the outside and runs this out route. That's a really good job by him getting some separation with that split release, okay? So now we're going to be talking about how you could get separation when you just go straight up split release, right? So we're going to be looking at this right from Antonio Brown. So when he splits, he gives a little head fake, right? So that's something that you can do to be able to get this guy to be thrown off, right? Because you split, you want to freeze his feet. Then you want to give him a little shake, maybe get him jump to the inside, jump to the outside, so you can get more separation. So let's watch this full speed. So he comes up here, splits, gives a little head fake, pushes up vertical, and you see how much we get this guy to run vertical with me, man. Maybe I've done this a couple times before. Maybe I've split. Maybe I've hit him with a diamond release, so he's wanting to sit to the inside. Now I just split, and now I just go to the outside, right? There's so many different ways that you can approach this, so many different ways that you can do, so many different ways you can attack a DB with this type of a release, right? And then he breaks this thing off, runs this stop route, then comes back to the ball. So when he splits here, you see how he gives this kind of like head fake, right? He gives this little shake with his upper half, and then he takes off to the outside, right? Now, imagine if he were running a diamond release here. He just went 1, 2, 3 and broke off that third step right there. That DB would be so far committed with his hips that he would be so far off that platform, I could just slip back underneath him. Just like what we were talking about with that Samuel video, right? It all builds. Everything that you do builds. Maybe you hit him with a split diamond first, and then you come back and just hit him with a regular split outside release. You run this stop route. You run this fade route. There are many different routes that you can run with an outside release, and the split does not take that long, so you don't have to necessarily worry about timing. That's how that split release can lead to other things, lead to other ways for you to be able to get some separation. So make sure that if you guys are just going straight split, you give something with your upper half. You don't just split and keep your shoulders square, especially if it's a more talented DB. You want to split and give something with your upper half. Give a little shake to the opposite side that you're going to be breaking. You want to take an outside release. DB's giving you this outside release. I split, give a little head fake to the inside, then I burst back up. I push off of that leg, and my first step out of here, you can see his first step is with his left foot. Then he crosses over his frame so he doesn't lose that explosion. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by AB here, getting the split, give a little shake with his upper half, push up vertical, then drop this thing off. That's a great job by Antonio Brown. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, if you have any questions at all, leave those in the comments below. But also, fellas, 50% off sale on our 30-day catching program. No quarterback necessary. Hope you guys can take advantage of this sale today only. Check out that very first link in the description, and I'll see you guys next time.